Hi, John. Hi, Ferrari. Hi, OJ. Hi, Ben. Hi, Yi. Hi, David. Good to see you.
Yay.
And last but not least, hello, Jay, or how people know you online, Jay Sun. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
nickname. You could totally be a pop star with this nickname. So, welcome to our second ecosystem builder space. This will go as a little conversation between myself, Alex Stoicescu, part of the Request Network team, and Jay, who is the founder of Flock.
hmm
We will discuss various topics that Jay has been informed beforehand, obviously. No surprises here. And if anybody has any questions, I kindly ask you to ask them in the Twitter thread here and the Twitter post as a Twitter reply, sorry, X reply. It's gonna be hard to get used to calling Twitter X. And once the space finishes, Jay can reply to your questions. So without further ado, um, as I said, I'm Alex. My full name is Alex Stoicescu. I handle community and communications at Request Network. We are an OG protocol born in 2017 through an ICO, if people remember the crazy times of 2017. And our main thing is that we are the first ones to have added context to transactions, context in the form of invoicing. So that use case, just this particular use case of invoicing opens up a lot of other use cases simply because an invoice can become income, can become something that you get as a freelancer, right? Or send as a
hmm
freelancer. And using this particular invoice, you can get access to all kinds of services such as credits, line of credit, be it a line of credit for a business or an individual. You can get access to credit scoring, and this is where I'm gonna ask Jay to introduce himself and give a quick explanation, like Eli 5, like explain like I'm 5, explanation of Flock is.
Okay. Uh, is that to me already? Okay. Yes, yes. So, what's block? It's actually a pun. It's a combination of federated learning and blockchain, so that we call it flock, FL and OCK, right? So, I like puns because on my free time, I'm actually a comedian doing stand-ups. So, I am very much into the puns. And the reason we do this company and what is federated learning is actually because we see this synergy when it comes to AI and blockchain, because in AI, there's this emerging technology that's called federated learning. It works in a decentralized way, and then but but traditionally, you will always need to have an admin in the middle actually to oversee the whole training process. That's where we want to add a blockchain into this so that the whole training can be self-governed by everyone joining the training so that we do not need any, let's say, admin in the middle. So when it comes to federated learning, I'm not sure if everyone knows this term before. It's actually something proposed by Google in 2017, talking about right that your users' data do not have to leave your own entity, for example, your phone, right? So it's always just stay local in your own entity. So Google is using this today. Everyone who is using Pixel phones, you're actually helping Google to do this federated learning for typing habits. So of course, Google says they will not be evil, right? They will not transmit your data. Your data
Yeah.
is always stay stay local, but they can collaboratively train a model together with all the Pixel phone users. But I'm not sure if you guys noticed some of the news recently. Not Google directly, right? But the other Chinese manufacturer Xiaomi, who had this scandal of actually transmitting data to do the training instead of really using a well performed federated learning. So this is where the the value of Flock is that we do not want to give our um uh, uh ownership of data to any third party, like believing in any third party, that wouldn't be evil, right? We want to build this framework where everyone in the training can form this consensus, they self-govern themselves, and there's no evil behavior that can be done because of the beauty of blockchain. That's where I love the project. Yeah.
I like how you approach data ownership, as this is something that us at Request Network are also, quite keen on as an ideal financial ecosystem that we are building. the ownership of data is very important. So user, and imagining you go to a bank and you go with a stack of papers to get a credit, or to whatever you want to do at a bank, you need a stack of papers. So
Hmm.
instead of doing that, you could be a blockchain user, right? Inside our ecosystem where Flock is a part of, and you could basically just select from a dashboard with whom you want to share your data with, right? With which builder, with which service you want to share your data with, and within 2 clicks, you share the data. You apply to the service, and you got it. That's everything it should be easy. That's everything that you should do, and you shouldn't waste more time than it's needed. This is the beauty of technology, I would say.
Yeah.
And I had one question for you about federated learning. Is it sort of like a category of machine learning, or is it?
Yeah, yeah, it's still
Mm,
machine learning, just the way it trains model differently. It makes sure that your data stays on your own device. But then people will ask, then how do we train model together, right? So it actually goes this way. So the model will be the initial model, the normalized model will be distributed to each node in the first round, and then everyone will train on their own local data on that model. Then, of course, that model will get changed, right? There will be a delta of the model change. That delta will then be sent over to next node. Next node take the delta, change the model accordingly, and then train on their own data, and there will be a new delta. Then that new delta will then be sent to next node. It's basically a circle, like kind of like circle architecture where we don't need anyone in the middle to govern the whole training process. It's all just self-governed, and then the node will know when a circle finished, because when I get my data again, then sorry, when I get the model again, then that means the whole ecosystem, sorry, the whole training system has all been trained on their own local data. So that's how federated learning works.
got it.
Yeah, it sounds it sounds really
Complex.
sometimes, yeah, yeah, but actually it works very well. In traditional industry, there are lots of such um traditional federated learning companies already in technology sector, like people who are doing federated learning for healthcare data, which I guess it's so easy to thought of, right? Like health data is so important that regulators will never allow any hospital to share data to any third party. But traditionally for hospitals, they probably do not have enough data on their own case, right? So probably they want to collaborate with different hospitals together,
True,
so that
true, true,
yeah, so
true.
that they can get a better data.
Yeah, we,
So
we
it's
did we did use the example in the blog post for Flock that we wrote, and healthcare is particularly important if
yeah,
we can help in that field. But aside from that, it's also to be, at least in the EU, to be compliant with GDPR laws,
yeah,
which are a big blocker for everybody, including X, Meta, and the giants.
yeah.
Moving on, I would like to ask you, how did you start Flock? What came? How did it come into existence? Was it a personal experience? Were you already doing machine learning and
Yeah,
you see a
yeah.
future in this? How did this happen? Were you walking down the street and yeah, you know,
Got an idea, right? And then,
yeah,
oh yeah, I need to
an
do
apple fell on your head?
it. No. So yeah. So basically, as yeah, a little bit about me. After graduation from Oxford Computer Science, I went to a VC called Entrepreneur First, which are quite popular in Europe recently, right? They invest in person, not projects. So at that time, in 2014-ish time, that's quite a new idea where, I never thought I gonna do startups. I just applied, and they got a hackathon, and I won the hackathon, and I got into the cohort of that year. So then we start to speed dating with all the cohorts together to start up my first company basically in my life. At that time I'm already doing credit scoring. Like in 2014, I don't know whether you guys recall, that was the previous hype of AI. That was the exact time where the previous hype of AI is, and whatever um um idea, if you add it with AI, then it will get very much attention from the community, from investors, right? So that was the first time I do this, purely credit score type of AI, where we take, for example, user behavior and everything when people taking down notes or taking their application form for a bank. Then we record all those behaviors, and then to create a score for them. that will become one of the pipelines into the banks so that they can take those signal as one of the measurement to decide, whether to give the loan to this person or not. So that was my very first experience, and then after that, I got headhunted to a traditional bank, becoming their head of AI globally, where I focus much on still in this in this traditional finance space, but more on the fintech area, right? At that time, people were talking about natural language processing, and graph neural networks, or knowledge graph. So for people who don't know, knowledge graph is a very popular term before this GPT hype. So that was my previous job. But then after GPT, and then everyone's like, oh, okay, we don't need a knowledge graph anymore. Like GPT
Uh,
can do everything.
I
So
swear that underneath the space that we have right now on my screen, there's an ad for ChatGPT cheat sheet. It's
yeah,
real time processing what we're speaking
yeah.
and
So I
serving
say,
ads.
so I would say everything I do had this synergy, right? Especially the work that we do with a request. I mean, the moment I see this opportunity, then I applied with request guys. So is that I did traditional credit score before, right? And then I worked in traditional finance for like
Mhm.
over 10 years, and then I'm here now with decentralized finance. I think Flock can play a very important role because I have the insights and I know how it works. And then, but because of Web3, many of those data are actually not so well, accumulated, or people actually do not want any third party to accumulate their data, right? So how do we find a way to preserve users' privacy first of all, and then but still, making them comfortable with, um, getting some of their data and then getting a better credit score that can reflect their credits that can give out to maybe third party DeFi lenders, for a better product. So yeah, so that's where yeah, sorry. So back to
So
the
you,
question.
yeah, you're coming. So my understanding is that you're coming from a background that is heavily focused on AI, right?
Yeah,
You said since 2015 you started working in the AI field
yeah.
or researching.
Yeah, AI field and research. Oh yes, I do have another title as a research fellow in Imperial College London,
Oh
where
yeah.
after graduate, yeah, many of my research at that space is still only knowledge graph side. But of course, after GPT hype, now we are now trying to see how knowledge graph can then be combined with large language model and make a better large language model in the future.
Yeah, I,
So
I do remember that not just you, but most of your team is actually highly educated or with background in academia. Could you briefly tell us what are some of the core members behind Flock and what are their roles in, shaping the company's vision?
oh yes. So basically, majority, all of our core team are all from Oxford, and they study in different aspects. Many of us are from computer science. Is even our investors, right? So
This is like, yeah, VCs love us.
yeah.
Banks hate us.
Yeah, and we do research, and we probably will keep on doing research on our long-term journey with Flock, because it's something that we feel like a very niche in this Web3 world, where not many people actually focus on research in their first several months of runway. Instead, for us, we write papers for our first 6 months. We didn't do any marketing. We didn't do any of those traditional marketing type of thing for Web3 company. We publish papers. We publish on NeurIPS, which is the top AI conference without one of. We publish on Science. Everyone heard about Science, right? And then we publish on
Mhm.
3W. All those conferences. The reason to do so is we want to make sure that we are proposing a new paradigm of privacy computing, right? We want to make sure it is peer reviewed in academia, that people recognize it as a proper, uh, as a proper or new technology that everyone accept it works, right? That's important, because if you're talking about technology but you don't even have a solid narrative or solid paper to talk it through and then give it peer reviewed by all the top academics in the world, then it doesn't really stand, right? We want to make sure that Flux stands in our first instance, and then for the next 6 months we just coded everything, and then we publish our SDK testnet already. Now people can just use our SDK to build their apps on Flock.
There's an early adopter program or something like that, right? Or
Yeah, the early adopter program. Yeah, we
yeah,
we
yeah.
really encourage people to build on us. Yeah.
And speaking of building, um, we briefly discussed that, for example, Flock's tech stack can help with healthcare, right? It can
Mm.
also help with credit scoring or helping, the unbanked get access to services from traditional banks, but via blockchain. Is there any other, real world use case that you
Oh yeah,
can talk to us about, or is it a surprise, or
yeah. There are
obviously if you can talk about it?
Yeah, there are many fun use cases. Like recently, uh, on the same event, Alex, you were there in Singapore, right?
Yes.
During yes, so during 2000 token 2049, there was a project coming to us. Actually, they are doing very interesting AI applications to record your voice, and then they can use your voice to sing any popular songs in the world. Um, but of course, I mean, there's privacy concerns. That's the reason why they come to us. They want to build with us instead of them having to do their own centralized server and then collect all the users' voice to that. Because I mean, if I'm a customer, I would definitely feel skeptical because maybe this guy is going to record my voice and make it into a scammy voice to call my
I mean,
mom,
this
right?
is basically why the actors strike happened in Hollywood, right?
In
Because
Hollywood, right?
yeah, we're
Yes.
very scared of all these large language models using their voice, their appearance, their basically their entire careers to to cut them out of the deal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's where, yeah, very up to date with this new technology, right? Flock can help on because, yeah, with Flock and applied with their technology, then their users can make sure that their voice data always stays on their own device, like their phones, their computers, and then but they can still collaboratively train a model together because nowadays LLMs are quite big, right? You can't really imagine your own data can fine tune an LLM because you need quite a lot of data. You need people around you. You need all the collaborators who join together to fine tune the model. So yeah, it's already the new age of AI now. So we need to encourage this type of collaboration with all our with all the data contributors, but still to enhance the privacy because in traditional world, maybe collaboration and privacy is quite a hard thing to balance because if you want to collaborate with others, maybe means that you need to forfeit your privacy, right? Or if you want to keep your privacy, then you can't really work with others together. So yeah, this is where Flock kicks in. We are going to get this balance between the two.
And in terms of features being introduced, we talked a few use cases, but in terms of features, is there a particularly critical one that you want to introduce soon?
Oh, features. Yes, yes. So currently it's still very developer focused. So people are building on us, having some background in development. So what we are looking to do actually next week we're gonna launch this what we call one-click fine-tune campaign, where people
Yes,
don't
please.
need to yeah, where people don't need to understand anything about machine learning. All they need to do is log on to Flock and just one click, they can then join any interesting training with others together, and then safety assured their data is all private. That's where we want to lower the barrier for people to adopt Flock. We're not just trying to make it something high in the cloud that's not accessible for general people, right? We want to make sure that it's something that everyone can use, everyone can experience, and everyone can see. Oh, that's what Flock is building for us, and that's the new paradigm.
I'm really happy to hear that, especially as a non-technical person, or basically as a less technical than average person. I'm happy to hear that because every time I look at Flock and I read stuff about you and I go on your platform, it takes me a few minutes until I really understand what I'm doing there, or I have to open another tab and research. And I'm happy to hear that you're opening up the gates to, people that are less technical than average. I like this term a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Thanks to our team, actually. Yeah, all our developers and our team who is also joining this.
Kudos to the Flock team for opening the gates of machine learning to plebs like me.
Yeah.
um, Circling back to the main reason of this call is obviously we're partners now, and the reason that we're partners is that Flock can bring machine learning based credit scoring to request network to the ecosystem that we are now building. How does this partnership look like? What are the specific benefits for the users? If you can touch on that a little bit.
Okay, yeah. I think people in Web3 always experience this, right? So in decentralized finance, they either only have their own chain data that to be accessed, or someone will ask you for your own banking data. But most people wouldn't be very comfortable with sharing it with any third party, right? So this is where Flock kicks in. You can combine your on-chain data and off-chain data together, but that's only in one single pod that none of any other third party will see it. And then once you have that score out, that can be shared with the DeFi lenders that can give you a better product.
So
Um,
how do you bring the off-chain data to, to the Flock platform? Is it through a for sort of like a data on-ramp, or how did you
oh
plan
yes,
for this?
yes. So that's actually thanks to European Union, where we have this open banking system across
Sorry.
Europe. Yeah. We have this open banking system across all the countries, right? Everyone in any bank, their data are all just unified. All the data schema is the same. That we don't even need to clean the data, right? So yeah, this is where how we onboard those data. All people. So from people, sorry, from user experience point of view, people only just need to log on to the, let's say, request platform, and then see, as Alex mentioned before, they can see the product provided by Flock, and they can click through and consent to the data privacy button, and then their model will run and then compute a score for them.
That's fair enough. And how do you think this is gonna help, let's say people that don't have documents, the unbanked people in regions of the
Yeah,
world where, yeah.
yeah, it's quite a thing, right? Because nowadays I see requests, well, especially request finance has rolled out some new features like crypto to fiat payment, but they require KYC. And I don't know how the figure look from your side, but I guess many banks are sorry, many SMEs are still not comfortable with doing KYC with request finance, right? So yeah, this is the issue on Web3 always, right? So people don't really want to reveal their true identity, but then without revealing their true identity, then you don't really actually get a accurate credit score for your products, right? So that's what makes today the DeFi are all
Mm.
over collateralized. You have to over collateral to actually lend to borrow something. So that this is where we want to help boosting the financial efficiency. Otherwise, it's always I mean, coming from a traditional financial background, I mean, over collateral is really not good. It's not efficient in this financial market. So yeah, we want to see if we can bring it down or make it more efficient.
And what kind of technologies are you using at Flock to realize this? What is your tech stack, if you can, obviously, if you can share that with us?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So in terms of tech stack, I can talk it through like in more broad horizon, like in end to end
Mm-hmm.
machine learning type of training, right? You will always have data layer, where data is stored in different ways or stored in different places. You will have the computation layer where you have your machine train your model, right? And now you will have training layer where, okay, you have compute, you have data, and then we can train a model for you. And then you have inference layer where people can run on your data and then they get results. So this is where Flock works as when it comes to federated learning. It's a traditional way we use federated learning that's been proven in the traditional in the sector already, right? The reason we add blockchain in is that we can have this proof of stake type of mechanism to ensure that everyone is performing a genuine update about their local model. So that, for example, if someone is not performing well, then they will generally be ruled out by POS slashing 10% slashing 10% and then eventually be ruled out. So eventually the whole ecosystem will only have the good guys, let's say, and bad guys will be kicked out. This is how Flock works in a bigger picture.
Thank you for the overview. I appreciate it, and I'll have to like double listen to it double or three times actually to get the whole picture, because is it's like I said, for somebody who's not very well versed in AI or machine learning, what you're building is literally the cutting edge. So I would like to ask you, in relation to this, if I sign up right now to Flock,
Mm,
as somebody who's not very technical or has gotten into machine learning more than using ChatGPT or DALI or
mm,
Midjourney, like that's my
mm-hmm,
experience with this.
mm-hmm.
How or what would I have access to? What kind of features would I have access to, and would I be able to understand them or use them, or do I have to wait until like next week until you launch the new feature
Oh
that's
yes.
more new
So
friendly?
currently for this week, what do you? So I actually see thousands of people using Flock Researcher already. So what's Flock Researcher? It's actually one of the product we built on Flock, just like ecosystem building on themselves, right? So this is one of the products that currently everyone can log on and use. What it means is it's actually a cluster of small LLMs together, or we call it a flock of LLMs, and then we connect them all together so they can perform much better than
It-
a huge large language model,
Was
like
that another
seven.
pun? A Flack of
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, flock of LLMs. Yes. Um, Yes. Flock Researcher is currently one of the products that end users can experience. They can see the difference. Okay, how these small LLMs can flock together, actually getting a better results comparing to a single huge LLM. And we're gonna have this version iterated from version 1 to version 2 to version 3 to make it more accessible by everyone. And also, from next week, as I mentioned, right? So we will
Mm-hmm.
we will launch our one click fine tuning feature where people just log on and then they just browse or the interesting projects on our marketplace, and then just one click to join the training. So this will be quite smooth for people to experience Flock.
And looking at the bigger picture, speaking of not the near future, but a far future, let's say like a year, 2, 3 years from
Uh-huh.
now,
Uh-huh.
what's a feature like that excites you the most? What is something that you really want to get in, or is something that you plan to build and it's gonna take you a while?
Oh, well, for the long future, of course, to launch our mainnet, right? So, we want to and have this very clear ecosystem and governed by this token economics, so that everyone join the training, they can get their own rewards. I think that's the most exciting thing, and for everyone working in Web3, they want to see this happening, right? They want to see people building on their ecosystem, getting well rewarded, and then everyone who join the training, building model, share the data, they can get their rewards respectively. So which is quite different from traditional Web 2 industry where for example GPT is earning a lot of money, right? But that money never goes to Twitter or Reddit. That's why Twitter now ban access from GPT, and also Reddit changes their API from free API to a paid API, right? It's just because this data provider they're being used by many of those AI training companies, but they never got those rewards back. So this is where we want to
I'm
change.
particularly happy with your answer, as I was gonna end the space with the question, a special question for crypto Twitter, obviously, and the question was supposed to be, are you gonna launch a token to power an ecosystem? So you just yeah.
Oh yes, okay. So yeah, I guess we are.
Cats out of the bag, I guess.
Yeah,
Well, then I have a different question for you on the on an ended note. So in the beginning, you said that this is a pun. Flock is a pun, right? It's federated learning and block.
yeah.
So and that you're doing stand up. Was that real? Are you actually doing stand up somewhere? Is there any videos that you can share with us?
Oh yeah.
Because this is like great content,
Yeah.
a great way to promote yourself, right?
Yeah. I'm doing it offline in London. Yeah, as in pubs or somewhere. Yeah. So I am in this community, but it was a habit I developed during pandemic time actually, because you have too
Hmm.
much time. You work from home, you have too much time. You need
Yeah.
to find somewhere to actually spend those time, right?
And
And
usually
then
video games for fitness.
yeah, but then I have to admit after I do vlog, because there's so many work as CEO, there's so many things to do. So I don't really go stand ups that often. But yeah, if I have some nice recordings, I'll just share with you. Yeah, happy to.
You don't have to because I'm already thinking of a next event together with Flock where we can have this. Now I know we can have entertainment. Thank you.
Great,
Well,
thanks, Alex.
you're welcome. Is there anything else that you want to add, like a call to action, anything that you, an incentive to join Flock right now, or anytime soon to to join the test the platform? Is there any incentive
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
community?
I encourage many, yeah, we very much encourage people to join and experience our training platform. Where I think Alex, you published a Medium article about it, right? There's a
Yep.
link to our there's a link to our early adopter program. So yeah, we encourage people to actually join the training and join this testing phase and give us any feedbacks that you want. And we are polishing our products, making it more accessible to more people that even without any technical backgrounds, we want them to experience Flock.
And will the this is a super marketing question, and the last one I promise, is the incentive going to be under the form of an airdrop?
I can't confirm as of today. So, right, that's the very bureaucratic answer. So, yeah, I warned by my marketing team. Do not.
That's the right answer. I'm proud of you. Cool,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Thank you for joining us today. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm trying to use AI to transform this into sort of a cool psychedelic video that people can enjoy on YouTube, not just on Twitter. Sorry, X. One day I'll get it right. And thank you for coming in. Thank you for all your answers.
Thank you,
And
Alex.
next, we'll obviously spam everybody on all the social media channels with the video, with the recording of this, and with quite possibly another flock event, IRL flock event. I cannot wait for that, honestly.
Thank you.
So thank you everybody for joining us. And if you have any questions for Jay, just leave them here under the post here, and he'll get back to you. Or just go to his Twitter profile. Absolutely follow him because he's got a lot to say and a lot. He's gonna change the world one day through machine learning, I hope. And yeah, connect with him, connect with Flock, follow us, and let's build a better world together. Bye
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.